It's a brother
and a sister.
It's a brother and a sister.
Brother and a sister. Yo, brother. Yo, sister.
Yo, brother.
Okay. Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the nigga KB coming out of the zoo.
Wow.
Yeah.
KB.
I never call myself
I've
KB.
never heard you refer to yourself as that.
By saying Khabani is too many syllables for that rhyme scheme.
But KMM was always your thing.
Yeah, but we never got the second M.
Yeah. That was fictitious.
Yes. I was nearly Khabani Michael Muloy. And then
Not really.
Nearly.
You nearly changed your name to that.
No, there was a
I love the name Luke.
Yeah, thank you.
And Mom and I discussed that.
I was going to be called Luke Muloy.
Khabani Muloy.
Khabani
But it was before I was decolonized.
Okay.
Now I won't give an English name.
KLM. Yeah, no, I don't take no L.
KLM is an airline. Listen, none of this
matters.
Beats what we're going to talk about today and who we're going to have on today.
Yes.
And what we're going to do today.
Yes.
Etc. and so forth. Welcome to A Brother and a Sister podcast. That is my brother, Khabani Luke Muloy, who is 17 years my junior. And so we thought, how can we merge our worlds? As I am the sister, Abalo, Jessica. But don't tell anybody, Muloy. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you, Jessica. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy.
That's good.
Today is a great day. If I just found out ASAP Rocky is free.
Well done.
He's a free man. Let's clap it up.
Well, I'm not upset.
In front of our live studio audience. Yes. Man, I'm actually very happy.
Why are you so hyped? Obviously, he's someone that you've always loved, and we talked about it on one of our previous episodes, and I was very concerned. 25 years is like a long time, and that's what he was facing, so now he's free.
Yeah, that's 3 years less than 2 years less than Mandela. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, did you see the maths that I had to?
Yeah, I know. I wasn't going to call...
Hey man, I'm an A$AP Rocky fan, not a Mats fan. You know?
Oh, that's beautiful. Good for you.
Yeah, good for me. I think, I'm just happy because, like, I've grown up listening to him.
Yeah.
It's like him, Tyler, the Creator. There's certain artists where I look at my life and I've realized they've been a soundtrack to a lot of my life.
That's
like, they've been the background music to a lot of my life. So for ASAP to not be going to jail, it's pretty dope, Okay. I can feel you're conflicted.
I'm not necessarily conflicted. I wouldn't want him to go to jail.
Okay.
So I don't have a conflict about that. I just started getting my back up when I started seeing Rihanna going to court with him.
Okay.
And Rihanna having to play the docile, genteel, I'm just here to support my man kind of wife or girlfriend, right? I didn't like that for her.
Why?
Because Rihanna is a billionaire, Chomi.
Okay.
Rihanna has had her career. Every album that Rihanna has created has released #1 singles. Rihanna is top of the tops. And even she has to put on the coat to be the wife. Oh, don't worry, he's a bad man, but he wasn't that bad, but he's good to me.
Yeah,
no, I felt away. And I felt like as women, we often have to compromise ourselves in these positions. And it almost doesn't matter where you place yourself in the world. She's worked herself to that level. But still, because of some dude and some nonsense that happened, she has to be like, but I'm here for ish. Yeah, I get low. So that made me very tired immediately.
Okay, I get that. But but also the way you're making it sound like she was, wearing the doek and the blanket and like she was still slaying at court, She was like
slaying where?
At court, bro.
Where?
Do you know that could actually be a great marketing campaign? Like Fenty's for everywhere,
Like, court lips.
Court
Innocence
lips. Yeah.
by Fenty.
If you want your man to beat the trial, you gotta get those lashes.
Look at my lashes.
The
Don't they
foundation.
just scream innocence?
Oh, my days.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you're a comedian, so that's a hilarious way of thinking. But as a woman, I'm
Okay.
just like, I don't know. But anyway, you know what? We don't know what happened in that house. We don't know how much she swore in him in many patois. I don't know, but it's all good. It's been done.
I get it. I get it. I also every time I see a black dude in America like get off a trial that didn't involve obviously somebody dying or like an assault situation where like a woman or child was implicated in the thing, I often get excited. Like if it's a drug charge or holding like having illegal weapons or whatever, if they get away with those kind of things, I'm just like I'm kind of happy, just a little, because the stats there in terms of black men getting in prison, 1 in every 3 black men in
There's
jail.
definitely an imbalance in how the law is enforced
Yeah.
racially. We also have that here.
Mm.
If you look at the newspapers and there's a charge against somebody who is not of African descent, their picture and their name won't necessarily be in the newspapers.
Mhm.
But somebody who is of African descent, you will see Temba Shabalala has committed this with a picture of him.
We have such a crazy shame kink in this country.
Yeah.
Like, and we love saying, you see blacks, you
Yeah.
see blacks, you see what they like to do. And actually, remember yesterday I was telling you about the ShopRite kid that was yesterday I went to ShopRite, first mistake, and then and then I saw a kid, he was getting shouted at by the security guards, and then I saw he was holding a chocolate. And then I was like, oh, he was trying to shoplift, and then everyone was shouting at him. But the thing is at ShopRite, when you shoplift at ShopRite, they also want to take your picture so that they can like
Ban you.
ban you.
Yeah.
But they make you have to hold the thing that you stole by your face, where you have to like you have to. Luckily, you just stole the chocolate.
This isn't funny at all. This is a horrible state of affairs.
Trying to like, guys, the bigger the better. The thing, like you're holding a whole like 2-liter Oros, and you have to just.
It's not funny. It's
not funny.
sad. It's
Sad.
not funny. It's very,
sad.
very sad.
I actually wanted to like help him out and just buy the chocolate for him.
I
So that it didn't
know.
happen. But then I was also scared they were gonna be like, oh, so you're his friend. Also, you
You're
must
an
take it.
accomplice.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
really,
no.
really rough.
We definitely have a shame kink in SA where we love embarrassing each other.
Yeah.
We love doing that. We love being like, look at you. Look at you.
That's very sad. And I asked the question over and over again. Once you get to an ASAP Rocky level, right, where you are, I mean, he's so beautiful to look at.
Okay.
He's a model.
Indeed.
He's the soundtrack to Khabane Luke's life.
That is true.
And many others of your generation. I mean, he's got it together, you know? Now, why are you still messing with gang banging stuff? Is that not in your past? Why?
Man, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
No, then you are going to trial and Rihanna's going to have to wear a blanket and a duke.
Okay, in all honesty though,
Yeah.
I do think it is a hard thing to unlearn that, like, I guess that toxic masculinity. It's like testing a homie's gangster, whatever you want to phrase it as. It's hard to unlearn. I
Yeah.
sometimes feel it all the time where like, even when I'm just in the car and there's a road rage moment where someone's like, yeah, bloody fuck you, and now you wanna, it's hard to just let it go and just like be calm about it, because your entire life it feels like you have to defend how much of a man you are or whatever. So things like that, where his whole situation was he had to defend the fact that he's a good homie, because the whole thing was
About a homie.
really was saying you didn't pay for the guy that put you on, you didn't pay for his funeral.
Yeah.
And he did. And he still had to defend himself, and
Yeah.
it was a long
So a lot of
situation.
emotions get involved, a lot of triggers get involved, and I have a lot of compassion for that. And I see parallels in South Africa, in business, in spaces where, you know, you see people who've literally had that dusty streets to Forbes list experience, right? Their businesses are popping. Everything's going well for them. They've married that beautiful woman who's their equal. They've done so well. But still those moments will come up where they almost have to show you, right? They have to show you who's in charge, who's the boss, who's the man. They have to show you. And, you know, then it comes to cheating and implanting babies all over the place outside of your wife because that pretty light-skinned girl didn't date you in high school. Now you have to show the world. You know what I mean? And there are lots of different examples of things that people can do that are controlling, that are nasty, that are brutal to people. And it is that. It's hard to unlearn the foundations of your upbringing. It's hard to unlearn and release that resentment. And I think we all have it to a degree.
1000%.
But yeah, it's a parallel that I see often. And I wonder what it would take, or if it is simple, easy, difficult, just not even on your radar, to have a process of healing.
Yeah, that requires a lot of like self-defining in terms of worth, where as a dude, as a just a person in general, and I think women are doing a way better job at this now, where they're like, there's that whole conversation of I don't need no man, but it's like beyond that, it's like I am my own person. I don't need validation from anybody to know my worth or whatever. And I think guys also need to have that kind of mindset where it's like, bro, just because you're not getting all the baddies, just because you're not the richest homie in the room, just because people don't laugh at your jokes, doesn't mean you're not worthy, like, so. And that's a tough thing, because then every day you go on the internet also,
red pill society,
like motivational self-talk for guys is like, look at you haven't killed anything today, how pathetic, come on,
wrestle a bear,
come on, go colonize or something. It kills something,
because society hasn't given men any sort of validation for what healing will do. So it's better you get a lot of reward for that kind of masculinity. You don't get much reward in this world as it is for being a healed, loving, embracing man. There's no reward. So why would you do it? But we love our men.
A$AP Rocky's free.
And A$AP Rocky's free.
And Young Thug. And
yeah, but you need to stop.
Yeah, no, they do. They do.
They do.
This is the first time Bobby Shmurda, Young Thug, and A$AP Rocky have been all free at this. Oh my days. Yo.
Are those your role models? Because then you must move out.
Bobby, bitch. You know I don't do karate. Sorry,
We've got a guest on today, which I'm excited about.
Yes, we do. And I am extremely
okay.
She has an amazing podcast called What in the 20’S. Also
right here on Spotify.
Also sponsored by I don't know if I'm allowed to say that for her podcast.
I don't know.
Fine. But ours is sponsored by Spotify. And we're very happy
Could
to
we be
have
in
her
trouble?
here. Huh? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know the rules of her podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, she'll tell us.
Yes, she'll tell us. But that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the very amazing, very interesting Zama Mkhize. So, we have an amazing guest today. Also, she's a part of the Spotify creator family. I've been wanting this guest for a very long time. She's amazing. She has a podcast called What's in the 20’S.
Ooh.
And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Zama.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to have you here.
What did I say earlier? Guest. That's the word.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm pumped.
And then I said, I'm going to have to really catch up and keep up, because does guest mean you're tired?
No, I'm
or does guest mean you're pumped up? But I've got it now.
It has nothing to do with unleaded.
Yeah, exactly. 95 or 94. Listen, it's so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you, guys. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. And Khabane has been watching your podcast and really kind of engaging with your content and almost falling in love with your style and your story and who
That's
you
crazy.
bring to the podcast. Yeah.
I've always loved how vulnerable you can be. Like, it's terrifying.
You know, it's so interesting because sometimes I feel like I'm not vulnerable enough. Like, I feel like I don't, like, I feel like I just like touch the surface and then I try to like use I don't know, whatever I read or whatever to like balance things out or whatever. Because I feel like, oh, should you know me like that? You know, are you like comfortable seeing, like having someone who doesn't know you, see you and know what you're going through? And I think sometimes I just get so like, I don't know. But then I also realize like, it's done so much wonders for me in terms of building a community, you know, because like even in the comments, like I'll just find people being like, oh, Summer, like, thank you for this. Like, this has helped me with this or whatever it is. Or even like people just saying like, sending my condolences. Okay, so for context, like I was basically sharing about like how my mom passed away last year and stuff. And I don't know, like I didn't think much of it, but like so many comments were just like, oh my gosh, Summer, like, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, y'all care about me? Like that's that's really nice. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's been such a great tool in terms of facilitating community and like fostering that relationship with the people who listen to me. So I love it.
You know, when you tell your story, you free others to feel and be able to tell their stories. And that's why this vulnerability is so important, right? And I'm wondering back to when you started your podcast, what was in mind? What was the plan? What had you wanted to do with this platform?
So, you know, how really honestly, the way that it began was I was just going through it because I was like, I just graduated. I don't know what I'm doing in my life. And I just had so many emotions. I was like, I want to talk about this, you know, like surely I'm not the only one feeling this. And like the whole thing was really just like, I wanted to find people who were feeling what I was feeling. And when it just continued to progress, it stopped being about venting, but more about, I guess, engaging in dialogue with people and like also with myself about what I'm feeling and stuff. Like it stopped being like, oh, let me just tell you what I'm feeling, but more like, okay, guys, this is what we're sitting with. What are we going to do about it? Because I realized like at some point, I don't know, I think even with myself, like if people reach a stage of like, what is it? Compassion fatigue, where you just feel like you just get so tired of going through something, so tired of like, oh, and also people who are watching you, like, you know, we love you, but, you know, we want to see a character arc. We want to see development.
Sure, you can't always be mopey Mavis.
You know, like sometimes people just feel like, help yourself, you know, like get up,
get
you know?
up,
And I realized, okay, fine, I actually want to start doing the work and like whatever's working for me, I want to see how I can help others with that too, you know. And that's when things just started, I guess the shift in my podcast started changing. It was like I'm actually putting in the hours to like research stuff and things like that, and I've actually like seen it working for me. And I feel like that's how like the community again comes in. Like people are just like, you know what, you onto something. And I'm like, I love that.
And that's the wonderful thing I'm finding about podcasts, because I come from traditional broadcast media.
Okay.
And there, everything is almost at a flat line. So you just have to be acceptable.
Ooh.
So anything that you bring that is extra or vulnerable, it's like, too much noise, just play the music.
Really?
Or just tell the news. Yeah. And so being able to build a community because of who you are, not necessarily what your skill set is.
Sure.
I think that this medium is it's revolutionized how we connect with each other. It's such a beautiful thing.
Sure. Doesn't it make, how do I explain this? Because if you're not like engaging on your opinions, your thoughts and being vulnerable and stuff, doesn't it make you replaceable, if that makes sense?
100%. 100% replaceable.
But that's what they want, right?
Yes.
Because it's like an industry corporation.
I mean,
thing.
it's not about you. It's about the broadcast house. It's about the station. It's not about you. So yes, absolutely. You are replaceable. Forget Rihanna's irreplaceable. That is not you, babes.
They'll find another one.
Yeah. But it's also taught me that then I don't have to give you my whole life. Do you know what I mean?
How do you find like being able to like connect with your listeners then and stuff? Like
you just be yourself, and those who find you and relate to you find you and relate to you. I think it's a very similar thing. But yeah, the baseline is always there. The baseline is always there. But you're not interviewing me.
Sorry, my bad. I'm so
I like
interested.
the thing that you guys got going on.
My bad, Joe.
You know, that's really amazing that you're able to be so vulnerable online. Have you ever found yourself like people opening up to you as well in your community?
All the time. And that's the thing that also I find, I don't want to use the word strange, but I think overwhelming in a sense of, I think people overestimate how qualified I am to give advice, you know?
So real. That is so real. Because when I first saw you, I was like, you're like a young old person. You're a brood. And that's why I gravitated towards, because some of the things that you were saying.
Yeah.
Like when I saw you for the first time, I was just like, how are you this smart? And it's like it makes me want to like get to like open up to you because you have that
Oh,
energy as well. So
man.
yeah.
But I mean, even just like us talking about the time we met and everything, because I was saying that like when you messaged to be like, oh, do you want to be in the podcast? Like we've been watching. I was like, nah, you're lying, but it's cool. I was like, I'm keen to join or whatever it is. But like to even hear that, like, oh no, you were actually like pretty interested in like, you know, hearing what I had to say. That means like I don't even know. I think sometimes because what we do, right? Like we sit here and there's no one else watching us. Like we don't really know who it is that's like watching our work or being impacted by our work. And that's always what I find strange. Like even when I post on social media, it's like I'm doing my work in my room and then I have no idea who is like watching this and like this and that. So it's like even just meeting someone who's like, I watch your stuff. I'm like, what? Like for real? Like it's really, I don't know. I feel so blessed. I feel so like, it's just, yeah, I think it's always that like humbling moment of like, yeah, people actually see you and like are interested in what you have to say. And yeah, I always find it interesting when I like watch your podcast because I'm like, the tone, you guys are like so funny, you're cool and everything. And I feel like I'm always so like,
you what?
You mean you think we're cool?
You think we're pretty?
And then I say, and I was just like, like I don't even know why you come to me, you know. But then it's like, oh, okay, it's what you're talking about. Like when you just like yourself and stuff, like your people are gonna gravitate towards it, and I love that. Like,
and those two things aren't mutually exclusive, right? You can be going through a very difficult time, having challenges, but also being able to be playful in some moments. That's the interesting duality of life.
Sure.
You mentioned that you've done the work or are in the process because we're always doing the work. And so I'd love to know what some of that work is, particularly because your podcast is 20s focus and obviously your life is that focus right now. So what kinds of things have you been pursuing?
So number one, I really love reading books. Like that's just something that I feel like just trying to change your attitude, your mindset, your habits. I feel like a lot of the stuff kind of begin there because I think that a lot of this, like the way that I believe is that my life is the sum of my habits or the way that I do things, who I entertain and all of that. It's like all these little things that happen, you know, and I feel like if I can just start working towards those small stuff, you know, I might be seeing big results. You know, that's just always I begin. Also, man, I started therapy.
Good. Yeah.
What the hell is that?
What the hell is that? What the hell is that?
When did you start?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
So what do you mean by what the hell is that?
All I did was cry, you know? All I did, like I got there and I don't know. In the beginning, like I think it just feels weird because you don't know this person and stuff like that. And she just kept asking me so many questions and she's just writing, you know? And eventually at some point, I'm just like, I'm not here anymore. You know, all I can feel is just tears and stuff like that. Because I guess they're asking all the right questions and stuff. And it's like you kind of start thinking like, has no one asked me these questions before? Like what's happening, you know? And I don't know, because I feel like I do cry in general, but the cry that I cried in that room felt like being exposed. I think I just felt so like naked, you know, in front of her and stuff like that. And I just felt like I was just looking at myself, I guess. And that was just, not that it's too much, but like I think we become so good at compartmentalizing in life. We become so good at just like not dealing with certain stuff that now when all you have to do, and someone is like dedicating their time to seeing you, it just feels like, oh, like now I have to deal with it. And like you try to make jokes in between. I mean, I tried to like make, but she wasn't laughing. You know, I kept trying to like, you know,
I can so relate to
that. Yeah.
Like, damn, tough crowd. My bad. It's just mental illness. Like, come on.
Do you feel like there's still a big stigma against therapy in our generation?
Yeah, even with me, like I've been wanting to go for years, but I kept pushing it and stuff like that because I was like, therapy, like, does that mean I'm someone who needs therapy? And I was just thinking, like, what do you mean by that? So I'm like, you know,
that's so interesting because this generation is one of the first as Gen Zs to talk about mental health so openly, to accept, okay, someone's on the spectrum, ADHD, and to talk about therapy and to really, you know, value that within yourself. So it's a very interesting thing that stigma still remains.
I think so. this is how I think about it. Like, as much as, yes, I agree, the context of like also being Black, being African, all of that kind of plays a role
Of
into certain
course.
things. And of course, we speak about it a lot more. And I think, I guess the other flip side of the coin, in my opinion, I feel like now people also weaponize it to just, I don't know, manipulate situations or kind of gaslight situations or whatever it is. Like, I think people will like to say things, you know, as if that's supposed to mean something and have leverage or whatever it is. But like, going to therapy also doesn't mean you're doing the work. And I feel like that's another thing I've just come to learn. Like, a lot of people will say, I'm in therapy, and I'm like, you're still a terrible person. You still suck, bro. And and I think even just speaking about like mental health, everybody's like, yeah, I've got this, I've got 80 I've I've got So I need you to be sensitive towards me. And that's what I find interesting. It's like, why is what I don't know how to explain this. I don't think other people are responsible for your triggers, if that makes sense. And I think what we do is we say, oh, I'm traumatized by this, that, all of that kind of stuff, and we make it everybody else's responsibility to like work around you. Whereas I think you're supposed to be doing the work to, you know, kind of function.
You're one of the first people in my age group that I hear saying this publicly.
That is fantastic, because you can know all the right words, but are you doing the work? Right? The world is as it is. So are you working on your triggers? Are you working on the things that maybe are limiting you, right? Like self-belief and things like that. And that hour crying in front of your therapist is not the work. It's what happens afterwards when you're interacting with people. That is the work. Oh, that's you have such a beautiful understanding of it.
I mean, thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I think it's also just like, so I went to UCT, right? And UCT, they're very kind of vocal about mental health and everything that people are going through and stuff. And as much as I thought that was great, I started seeing like this weird thing where everybody is like constantly walking on eggshells about like so many things because we're trying to be sensitive to and like you just kind of lose a sense of identity. I felt like I almost just stopped knowing who I was and stuff because I was working so hard to accommodate what everybody was going through. And I realized, but no one's doing the work. Just because you're telling me this is what you're going through, like, now is that going to be a reality for the rest of your life? You know, you want to like change the world to like this and that. And I just feel like, I don't know, I wasn't having a fun time at some points. And I was like, no, guys, like we actually need to speak about this because we keep making excuses for not being productive, for not doing this, for not doing, you know, all of that, because it's like, oh, well, you don't know what happened.
What did you study at UCT?
Theater and performance.
That's why. Also, that makes sense.
Yes.
Like when you're in the theater world, you have to deconstruct the character, understand why they do these things, and you have to get so into it. Yeah.
And it's so detailed also. Like I don't know what I expected, but I mean, like they always talk about like how's our character breathe? I'm like, man, we just just act. I just want to act. How does character breathe?
How do I know if he has asthma?
Bro,
what does that have to do?
Is it like through the nose, through the mouth, through the this? And I'm just like, it gets so detailed. And you realize, like, like people are so different. And like I feel like grasped the concept of we're all unique, like for real. Like you just think like, oh, just act an old person, but nah, all people are different. And yeah.
And it can be quite cathartic then to apply that to yourself. And think about who you are. What a beautiful thing.
Are you guys into like theater and performance?
Oh my gosh. Slightly. I mean, that's all our family did. Our grandfather was in the original King Kong production in the 60s that traveled overseas. Our grandfather was there with Miriam Makeba and Hugh Masekela and all the rest of it.
And
our mom is an actress, a singer. She's got like silver plaques or whatever it was back in that day from her music. She was in Ipitombi the movie. My aunt was a ballet dancer, and she was in the first black woman to be cast as Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. And they twist. So are we from a theater family? We are from a theater family.
You know,
Fabi's dad was a pop star.
Like multiple platinum award-winning pop star.
This is so cool because, you know, my parents thought I was going to UCT to study law. Like they really thought. And that's what I'm like, it's just, I feel like how different would it be if I came from like a, you know, a family that like had all this. I think that's really cool. We guys like encouraged also.
Yeah, I think the mindset has always just been like for me, it was just like, you can do whatever you want in the art space, the theater space. Just make sure you're putting in the work.
Yeah.
That's always been a thing because you can succeed. It's been proven.
Just do well.
Multiple times before. It's just you actually need to lock in
Sure.
and like show that you're serious about the craft. So yeah, I know.
And I'm very proud of him. I mean, he's done everything he's done on his own merit. Like Khabani goes and hustles in the comedy world. If opportunities arise, he takes them. Like he's really done that. He doesn't ever like fall back on a family name or anything. It's the most beautiful thing to see.
I try. Thank you.
Yeah.
You make
Oh, Lukey, just little Luca.
Just wow.
Okay, so I want to understand something, right?
Talk to me.
We went to clubs,
Alright.
and clubs were clubs.
Okay,
So there would be a dance floor.
let's go.
There would be a DJ in the DJ booth, you know, with actual records.
Come
I
on.
think they became CDJs later. And we go to the bar, get a drink, and then dance. And now I'm seeing you're sitting on chairs, you're posted up, you're shisha piping. Who's dancing? So what's the
vibe?
what's the vibe? Yeah, what's club life? What's nightlife?
Would you like to take this one?
I get to the aim is not to sweat.
Our aim was to sweat on each other.
Yes,
it was nice. Don't judge.
It was the 90s. What are you going?
Yeah, but honestly, I feel like I love that, you know, because it gets really weird. You know, club politics, quite weird.
Club
man.
politics.
It's getting weird now.
Honorable members at the club.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird.
And you need to have a table to be able to get in.
People feel like they're not gonna have fun if they're not at a table. You know, they don't want to go if there's no table or whatever it is. And obviously, we all know the politics with the girlies. You know,
Yes.
how the girlies feel about other girlies coming into their
What is
section and their
that?
attitude.
I've never understood that. What is that about?
What is it actually?
I think we want to be chosen, guys. We want to be, and
Okay.
it's like, I mean, I also don't get it, but I think it's that. I think it plays into that thing of like girls being raised as competitors.
Yeah.
So it feels like if there's now more hands in the section, like, are we the best ones, the chosen ones, the creme de la crop, you know, or is it like, oh, anybody can get in? And it's like that feeling of like wanting to feel like, oh, I'm like exclusive, like this is, you know, he's buying all of this for me or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Chosen by whom?
Big baller, big spender.
Okay.
You know?
There's like 3 of them actually in the club. But then
Because
like
we just
12
had to
of
get
them.
through the bouncer. Like literally, he'd be like, "No, you can't come in with those shoes to the gents." And then we just like
It honestly sounds like such a fun time.
it was such
Like
a
a great
fun
time.
time. It was such a fun time.
I like that more because like everybody's just on their phones now also. You know, so you don't even really like, I don't even know who you guys are talking to. You know, like, like what's happening over there.
Right.
But yeah, it feels like what you guys were up to.
Sure, there was life, eh?
Sure.
Yo, there was so much life in those clubs. And you could throw your name away and it would be fine. Because some people will remember, but it's never going to be on social media. There wasn't social media.
You know, everybody ducks from the cameraman.
Yes, exactly.
That's so insane. I
Yeah.
feel like that's why festivals are better now. Like people
Yes.
just enjoy that
Fair.
way more than going to the club.
But like, how many festivals are there? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the ones we've been to, we've had a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to think. The Catronata one.
Catronata was fun.
Was it?
It was
It
Despite
was
the rain and
muddy,
everything.
but it was fun.
yeah, it was cool. Hey Neighbor last year.
Yes.
I'm actually concerned about like festivals generally now
Mm.
because I'm starting to, after the whole milk and cookies thing,
Yes.
and like on social media now, people are more critical about how events should be run. Now it's
Right.
making me realize like I'm not getting the most bang for my buck, and sometimes like because I'm overthinking that, I'm not actually
In the moment.
In the moment. 'cause
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
tough.
so
Damn.
That's really tough.
Sometimes, but
Yeah.
we'll work around.
What is
it.
that one that was like, I don't know if it was like 7 days or something back in, wasn't it like, is it Opi Kopi? Or
Yes,
something like that?
yes.
Yeah, what is
I
that
went to lots of
about?
Opikopis.
Really?
I
Was,
feel like
I
the
went
was
to
that
lots of Woodstocks. I performed on stage at Woodstock at some
Oh.
point. So how can I put this in a way that is PR friendly. It was dirty
Oh.
because you're living in a tent.
Okay.
It was also dirty because you're probably going to pick up an STD.
I'm sorry, what? Run that back.
You heard me. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Like you could just let loose and have fun.
Okay.
But I'm always I'm quite peculiar and particular. So I would hire a B&B just down the road from the thing and drive in every time. But it was fun.
People do that with daisies too. I think.
Yes,
Had
yeah.
enough of camping.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm doing that thing that when you remember something, you glamorize it and it was so beautiful. Maybe there were moments where it wasn't, but I just look now. Where do you guys go dancing? Do people dance?
Yeah, they do. I think.
Where do you dance?
I think it's
Not a
just also.
Gen Z anymore. My bad. That was way too soon.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Wow, she went there.
I
And I
don't
love
mind
it. I love
talking
it.
about it.
But you know what?
I
was-
don't mind
I was-
talking
I was
about it.
actually at a
It's
com-
horrific.
I was at a comedy show last night,
Yeah.
and they were talking about like generally as gents, we also need to stop having this mindset that we need to like do what your means allows you to do.
Sure.
Stop trying to like be a big flexer or like have everything, because guys go with the mindset of I'm gonna go to this expensive ass club knowing I can't
Yeah.
afford anything there. I'm gonna order the most expensive bottles, and then when the bill comes, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And then there's 12 guys already just there, just like,
So
No,
that's
finish peeing.
happening. Yeah.
what's your plan?
What's your
What's your plan? And it's like, I don't want to victim blame, but there's
Mm.
also just that thing of like, gents, stop putting yourselves under pressure.
Because they were young, right? Weren't
Yeah.
they celebrating their matric finals or something? It
But
wasn't.
even that, like,
They were young. They were young, apparently.
Yeah.
as a,
But I mean, the statement they put out, though, like that wasn't the case. They were stealing phones or something
Yeah.
like that. But it's also,
I think that's a deflection completely from the club side.
yeah, same.
Because I saw the video. I showed mommy the video actually.
I haven't seen
And
it.
this morning she was still affected by it. This morning she was like, our young boys. And it's true, you know? So I think the whole thing is appalling and it worries me what nightlife is for you guys. It really worries me. There's a different layer that is involved now. But I did also say to one of the guys from Not In My Name, they're a civil society group and they look after people in terms of sexual violence and GBV. And I said, perhaps now that we've seen it so starkly with men being abused in this way, maybe something more will be done. Maybe more noise will be made. Because I think that we've got to the point where we're so accustomed to, the pregnant lady was hung on a tree, or we found body parts in a suitcase of a woman. It's like it's all over that maybe now this will shock us into seeing what's really happening.
It's so sad to think about how we become desensitized to like really horrific news, you know, because we see so much of it. And I feel like that's also like sometimes why we might not take our own issues seriously or seriously enough, you know. I mean, even going back to me speaking about like my mom passing, I had to tell myself, you're not the first person who's lost their mom. Like, keep going, you know, like keep working or whatever it is. Like, you just gotta, like, worse has happened to other people. People are going through this, people are going through that. Like, you know, you just gotta keep the ball rolling until I crashed out. And I was like, oh, you know, actually, this is your life. So, you know,
You're
if
not other
it's
people.
if it's impacting you in this way, you know, it matters, you know, instead of just feeling like, oh, no one's gonna care, whatever it is, you should care that this is what you're going through.
And
You
didn't
should
that
care.
prolong your suffering? Not
Yeah.
dealing with it.
Like I said, that
Yeah.
therapy room where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
everything's just coming back up. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, for sure, absolutely. I think what I just did was delay everything and it just all caught back up to me. And I was like, okay, I guess it's time.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I've got an older brother.
Okay. And how was that relationship tested when mom passed?
So I think he's 29,
Okay.
right? Is he still Gen Z? I don't know. But I think he's
so.
just
I
yeah.
think he's just on the cusp.
Right? It's
Yeah,
giving like
yeah.
He's elder Gen Z.
But I think he's truly still comes from like the whole belief of like, you know, you just gotta move
Keep
on and
moving.
like you're a man or whatever it is. I can't be out here like I've never seen him cry really. I've never he just
Really?
pushes on and keeps going, which I get it. Like,
Mm.
and it's tough because, and I don't even know how to begin deconstructing that. Like,
Yeah.
like you are allowed to, and he just keeps saying like, all I'm worried about is you, Zama. Like, that's all he's concerned is like, are you okay? What do you need? And I'm just like, but what do you, like, she was your mom too. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes we don't allow or offer men enough like room or grace or space to do that. And it's also so hard to teach them now, like how to do that too. And it's even like, even if you do learn to do that, like, do people care enough, like there's always that thing, I think they speak about it all the time also on like Red Pill and stuff, like nobody wants to hear you complaining all the time, as a man. Like, you might think, oh, people are welcoming of like men's mental health, but like once you do it, everyone's just gonna be like, get
Whoa,
up.
brother.
Like, yeah,
Chill,
like
brother.
I think
exactly.
that's so
Bad.
unfair because we push for it. Just cry, feel your feelings. And then
Remember-
even as women, sometimes we're like, wallah.
That's
So
a,
I must go check the gates.
that's a terrifying thing.
Oh.
Because like I know, at least for myself,
Yeah.
there's been moments where like the tears are there.
Yeah.
And then now I'm busy wondering. I'm not thinking about how I feel. I'm thinking, how are they gonna feel if these things
they
happen?
see,
Which is
So I just had
awful.
to.
It's so awful.
Okay, cool. And then we go back to it.
But then do you then sometimes in your room have a cry?
The thing is, the moment's gone. The flavor, like, it's so hard. It's very hard to just. I haven't cried in a very long time, and it's not because I don't want
That
to or be
worries
strong.
me.
It's literally just because, like, in the moments where it's time to cry, it's like maybe now's not really the time.
Sure.
And then when you're back at home, it kind of feels like, I don't know if you guys have ever done this when you like were younger, but like when you start crying and you take a selfie of yourself, like while you're crying.
No,
You've never done.
I've never done that.
Are you sure you've never done?
No one does that.
Okay, then it's just a me thing.
Okay, but
like when you see
look yourself in the
you look
mirror
yourself
and
in the-
cry.
Yeah.
Oh,
you, like,
I thought she meant to.
like I'm taking a picture of myself. Like I'm just like, what am I doing? Like,
oh no!
Am I really crying right now? Like, wow, for free. Just
And then it just becomes years of you not crying.
yeah, and then it's
Because what? You've been told not to cry? Because
None.
we've never told you not to cry.
No, I've never felt like pressure that I can't cry.
Yeah.
Or anything. It's definitely an internalized thing because I can't
Yeah.
even explain it. I wish I could have like an Oprah moment right now and be
Sure.
like, when my mother said this thing to me, it made me realize I can never be. But I don't actually know what
I'm
it is.
so sorry.
It's just
that sucks
is
a
that?
lot.
I don't know. Like the closest time I ever cried was at one of the funerals, and literally in that moment I was about to, and then my mom called me to bring plates, and then I was like, let me get my shit together.
Interrupting something.
I was like, back into it.
You just gotta.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go get this money, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go get this bread.
That's why we need, that's why that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you need to have your basics met. And then you need to have like a roof over your head. You need to have all of those things. And then finally you can actually have the capacity and because we don't have time. After this, Sansere is spanning, the train is coming, And so that's very tough. I do understand your point as the Black society. It's not that we're stubborn about our feelings. We just haven't had capacity, time, and opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think caring about yourself is a privilege.
Yeah, it's sad. It's
Yeah.
very, very sad.
I mean, even with therapy, I'm like, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And, we tell people go to therapy, but it's also like, whoa, do you have the means to,
Yeah.
do you have the access to and the resources? It's like, I think people make it seem like, just do the work and get help. But it's like, you actually have to have, as I said, the resources and the means and the opportunity to be able to do that. Sometimes the environment you're in doesn't allow you to do that. Like I always speak about how I don't necessarily believe, especially in the context of South Africa, in like healing the individual and then putting them back in the environment that hurt them. Like I think because of like Ubuntu and all like the togetherness and everything that we are in terms of our
collective.
community, we need to work on trying to heal the community and the environment so that the individual can like heal and stuff. Because it's just a waste. Like you do all this work and then you go back to the same place that's making you like
Sick.
insane.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
And it's just it's
They
really
talk
tough.
about that in the prisons and rehabilitation centers, that in order to make sure that people don't reoffend, sending them back into the communities that created an offender in the first place
Sure.
is nuts. You've got to go and reform the community. And that makes a lot of sense for a lot of us, where we come from.
I think that's why, like, and I saw this topic on your podcast recently where it was talking about like cutting off friends and the idea of like there's certain people that, like, I guess the expiry date of them being in your life has clocked in, and that's a deep one for me because I've had the same friend since primary school. So that I've never really had to reshuffle my cabinet, but it's.
Do you have like a large group of friends?
Yeah, I have like. Yeah, it's about, because then there's like 5 guys from primary school and then 8 guys from high school, and like even when I link the 2 groups
It's
together,
a gang.
yeah,
Oh.
But when you meet them,
We're
they're
the
all
we're the nerdiest gang ever.
yeah.
Like we'll play you in chess, maybe. Like, that's the meanest thing we could do.
But
you
that's
know?
another thing I thought about too. Like,
That's fun.
guys keep their friends, hey? Like, they've all the time I find.
Don't look here. Don't look at me.
I always find that like
Hey.
guys have friends for like years and stuff, and like we are constantly doing like a cabinet reshuffle. Like,
But like you're saying here, like the only guy in the room right now is the one that hasn't really done the internalized work. So then there's also the level of like, next thing I do the internal work, and then I'm like, some young niggas got to go.
like actually, I don't
Yeah.
relate to you guys.
Yeah, and
That's dark.
Sure, that's interesting.
Ooh.
I don't
Oh.
think it's such a factor in your group necessarily, but I do understand that could be a big factor in male friendships, because I don't know. In female friendships, we'll sit, we'll talk, we'll cry, the glass of wine, we'll watch a show, then we'll pause it and go, that also happened to me. And then I don't know what you guys talk about. Like, what do you do?
I think that also just worries me, is that I don't necessarily know if it's a guy-girl thing or it's a trendy thing.
Okay.
Because people sometimes make like I see it on TikTok a lot, where it's like people will say things like, if you still have the same group from whenever, that shows that you're not growing. So then now people feel like there's a pressure to like
cut
let me go cut people off. And then it's like, there's some people you didn't actually have to cut off.
Got
They
you.
were good for you, but they.
Got you.
So I always worry, is this a trendy thing, or is this, what is this?
What is this?
Like, do you feel like that narrative is more now like prevalent in?
Yeah, especially with things like hustle culture and all the rest. Like, I feel like they're constantly saying like, if you're not where you want to be, look at the people around you or whatever it is. And we put the blame on like everyone around us as to why we're not who we want to be. And it just feels like, every time it's the new year, we're like, oh, I'm deleting numbers or whatever it is. I'm cutting people off. We always like to start the year like, oh, guys, like, watch out. Like, I'm changing. New year, new me.
I love the warning though. Watch out.
Don't be surprised.
Don't be surprised.
January 1st.
If you
It's
see
time
no,
for summer
if you
young
see no
niggas.
picture on my
As a
WhatsApp, you better know.
You must have
It
yourselves.
reminds me of people who let you know they're about to go off social media for a while. Like, just leave.
Yeah.
Just dog.
Yeah.
Why are you informing me?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm a bit of a prick sometimes. Like, as they text that, then I'll message them and then, just to see. And they 9 times out of 9,
They respond.
they're like, yeah, what's up, man? And I'm like, no, I just wanted to see something.
Still active. But yes, I do think troll.
Because why? They're trolling us too.
I know.
Off.
Yeah, I do think that there's this like pressure and trend to just make it seem like everybody in your group is up. Everybody in your group is getting their money up. Everyone in your group looks pretty or this and that. Like there's this feeling of like, yeah, you just want to feel like you're all important or whatever it is, like a winner's circle essentially. But it's weird because I just feel like so many people pour different things into you. So I just feel like it's unfair to be like everyone in the group needs to be a certain way where like people offer different things,
Yeah.
you know? And I think if you're unable, I mean, I once saw this wedding, right, where the bride, instead of choosing like a maid of honor and bridesmaids, what she did was like she chose a maid of honor for love, a maid of honor for care, a maid of honor for compassion, and this and that. Like, just virtues that will pour into the wedding rather than just saying like this is the
So beautiful.
bro. Like, and I'm
That's
just
so
like, yeah, it's a
beautiful.
great way to think about it. Like, you just come with this virtue into it and pour that into this mix instead of saying like, I expect you all to be this and that. Like, I just think it's we're all on different journeys. We're all on different. Like, come on, man. Everybody needs to breathe a little.
Sure, that's so
It
beautiful.
really made me want to get married. You know? That's fire.
Never me. Never
Oh.
that. It's beautiful because it's also unique,
Yes.
right? So you're not just sheepishly going into white dress, this thing, father walk down the aisle, whatever it is that we've been inculcated in from the West.
Yeah.
It's original. I love that so much.
With that being said, do you feel like dating culture is also like madly affected by that? Like the whole
First
mindset.
and foremost, it's so whack, guys. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like dating cultures, I don't know, were they this many stages in your time? Like a talking stage, or we're just chilling, or now we're exclusive again. Now, like before you arrive at the, oh, okay, you're my girlfriend or boyfriend.
No. And I don't understand what talking stage is.
You gotta have a talking stage.
I don't know what that is.
Gotta have a talking
versus
stage, bro.
then what's after talking stage? Chilling stage.
Okay, I don't know about.
And
like,
then
why,
there's
why are we doing
hanging stage.
No, you
chilling
just
stage? So now we're podcasting chill out in a relationship. No, man.
And
no.
then this is my worst: boyfriend or girlfriend proposals. Will you be my girlfriend?
Wait, what's wrong with that?
You like you're
You had me in the first
together,
half.
you vibe,
Mm-hmm.
you've met each other's families, you're having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Rajol. Or do you have to put it in writing that from this date is when we started our
I
relationship?
think it's also just because like there was a dude that like went above and beyond, and he posted it, and then everyone was like, "Must be nice," and then now everyone's like, "Oh fuck." Okay, so must I break up with
Yes,
you?
Valentine's
and
is
then
yours.
get back with you so that I can ask you to be my girl. Oh my days, the pressure is on, bro.
Everybody wants the plates now.
Everyone.
I mean, I don't disagree with the fact that you should have a conversation to kind of clarify, are we exclusive?
Yeah.
Are we, like, what are we doing? Because you can think you're someone's girlfriend and they don't think they're your boyfriend. And next
Happens.
thing they're in Limpopo getting married and you're like seeing the
Yeah.
pictures on social media. Fine, I get that. But can you explain talking stage, hanging stage?
What does being exclusive mean?
It means we can only kiss each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Are you
all
not
right.
basically?
We're waiting. What do you mean? What do you want to say?
Because I mean, you've done all this build up and everything. Now it's like, okay, yeah, let's just keep it chat. But like, wouldn't you keep it chat if we're together?
This is why I'm asking you. What's
Personally,
going on?
As soon as I am in a talking stage,
Yeah.
I am already exclusive. But there's a level of like
You personally, or just
no, this is me personally.
okay.
I can't project this on everybody else. But this is a thing where like I don't tell them it's exclusive or not. Because also you can see how much a person actually cares about you if you give them freedom to be whoever they want to be. So it's that thing of like, I'm not gonna give you rules at the beginning.
I love that.
I want to see how much you just respect me as a person.
Yeah.
So if you're out here like next week, I find out you hooked up with the other homie or whatever, then it's like, okay,
Now I know where I stand.
now I know where I
I
stand.
know, guys.
So-
I'm hearing you, but like, I also believe you need to communicate your expectations and stuff like that. Like,
Fair.
because they don't know you're thinking this, and they're just like, maybe he doesn't care about me that much because he hasn't decided that, like, you know, we're at that stage. So let me explore my options, because they're probably also overthinking and thinking you're exploring your options because you never said we were exclusive. And I feel like,
So when does this happen? During talking stage, chilling stage, hanging stage, holding hand stage?
and how come a talking stage can be like months?
Oh yeah, no, I do a 3-month talking stage. Gotta do a 3-month talking stage, babes.
So talking stage is literally just that.
Talking.
You chat maybe
I mean,
online
you
a bit.
You can't like
you see each other.
you can hook up if you guys want to,
That's
but
not a
like,
talking
But that's not
that-
talking.
But for me, like that,
Now that's your
That's
sneaky
your
link.
body talking.
I mean, you gotta understand, you gotta understand each other. Where you
So you're
coming
saying
from?
that's not talking stage?
No, now you've passed the talking stage. I feel like once you go on a date, you're out of the talking stage now. Like talking stage for me is meaning like we're getting to know each other, like we're chatting and stuff. But now you like make that step of like, okay, like now I want to meet up with you or whatever. So now we're dating. Like it's a date. Doesn't necessarily mean we're in a relationship.
So you would WhatsApp someone for 3 months straight before you ask them on a date?
No,
Oh,
we
so
go
you-
on dates. We
Oh.
spend time with each other. We like
What?
learn about each other,
and that's
like-
still just we're talking.
Talk-
and we're still talking. No, but I also do that because you can also just like, and maybe this is a messed up. Maybe this is my whole thing. I truly believe people can't hold their cycle for more than 3 months.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't keep the mask on.
Yes. So I just want to see like
I know.
I want to feel you shout at me. I want to see, can I handle the things that you get angry about? You hear what I'm saying? Or do you just get angry for everything?
Okay.
You see? But that's again, it's that I know is a trauma thing from my childhood.
Oh.
Where I'm like, I just gotta make sure that like if you're gonna shout at me, can I handle your aggression? Can I handle what's going on? You know?
I know someone you can talk to for that. You know? So, started going so 2 weeks ago.
Ish. These broken kids, man.
Yeah, I just find it so interesting. I wouldn't understand. Yes. Listen, it's not like I did understand dating in the first place when I was in my 20s. I didn't know what was going on. But I am always quite clear about perhaps not my expectations of the other person, but where I stand. So I will be like, as soon as XYZ as a red flag shows up, I'm not going to give you a second chance. I'm not going to play this game. I don't do that. Yes. So come correct. Because I'm not going to go.
Strike one, yeah.
I'm not going to play. I don't have time to play.
Hey, this is a 41-year-old.
Yes.
So strict.
And I think you've got to be to a certain degree. And then I will also listen very carefully to what you're offering me and then make decisions around that. So that's why I think cheating is dumb. Because if you're with a person maybe like me and you say, listen, babe, I really want this kind of experience with this kind of woman. I feel like I'm empowered enough to make the choice to go for it and let me know how it goes. Or, no, that doesn't make me comfortable and I can remove myself. Give me that opportunity. And, my relationships when I was 27, I started dating this dude, beautiful dude. And he was like, I'm getting my tubes tied. I never want to have kids. I don't like exclusivity. Even you, I like you, but I'm still not going to be exclusive, not settle down. And I was like, shut. Because on the other hand, I had met another dude who gave me almost exactly the same thing. I'm not going to be exclusive. I don't want a girlfriend. I don't, And I was like, shut. And I dated them both for a while. Because they told me they don't want a girlfriend. So I'm not giving you girlfriend experience. I'm just hanging out with both of you.
You know what?
Hell yeah.
I hope they one day become friends. Just probably say you two.
But you know what I mean? You've given me I feel respected that you've said to me, so Babalo, in this case, don't be expecting that you're gonna meet my mama and stuff. Don't be, and then I'm like, sharp. I don't mind doing that.
Fair.
The problem is we all think we can change someone's mind. Like we.
No, I knew both of them, and they're still the same.
Great. Having the self-awareness to just be like,
And the one eventually did get married, and then very quickly got divorced because that's not who he is. He is the person who won't settle down. So why don't you just allow yourself to be that guy?
Pressure, man.
That's
that pressure.
What is that? Experience, old age? I don't know, but that's what has happened in my world. So I don't understand talking stage.
But was dating easier?
I don't think so.
In the 2000s?
I don't think so.
The only reason why I assume so is just because of social media. I think there's extra rules now where it's like, do these rules even really matter?
Like what?
Like, sometimes when I hear about like grandpas and grannies' relationship, they wouldn't see each other for the whole day. And then later in the afternoon, they would see each other.
So now there's good morning, babe rules.
So now there's good morning, babe rules. Good night, babe rules. How's it going? Oh, is that guy from your work? You've already experienced my day before we've even gone home to actually talk to each other and be like, oh, like, we're not sitting at a table, at a dinner table and actually having a family experience because you know exactly how my day went already. I literally live streamed my day. So.
You were there.
You were there.
During the meeting. And now he said, now
You were
my boss
you
said.
were the top comment of this
Yeah.
entire day. So
Okay, so maybe that's a thing. Like you must miss each other a little bit.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
important to
I
give each
think
other time to miss each
Yeah.
other.
what's it? Something attachment where it's like you having to be on a person all the time to be assured that they're with you.
Yeah.
Anxious attachment.
Yeah, anxious. It's like,
Yeah,
there
I
we
think
go.
it is.
Nice, that therapy.
It's working, no?
2 weeks already.
Ah,
It's
Ah,
working.
Come
but
to
yeah.
me.
I love that. So how do you meet people now? Is it apps or is it real life?
I do real life.
Yeah, I prefer real life. I've heard that now men are more afraid to approach women,
true.
because they don't want to come off as being a creep or whatever it is. So it's a lot more difficult now to make the first move and stuff. So I guess that's why apps help people. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that I'm so afraid of being catfished. Or I'm afraid of
Yeah.
being swindled, like all of that kind of stuff, But apparently it works for people. Like people are, having a great time there.
Not
So-
me.
Oh
No.
no!
Nah,
Have you ever tried it?
Nope.
Oh, neither
I
have
can't.
I.
Because I'm scared.
Of
Have
what?
you never tried it?
Like I don't think it's good for the brain. Like I can literally look at a bunch of girls and be like, whack, dope, whack.
Doesn't
Yeah.
it feel like playing a game?
No,
yeah,
for sure.
it's
for
that's
sure.
that's
It's a catalog.
yeah.
That's not normal.
Mm.
I don't know if that's good for me. I need to
Yeah.
go out and actually humanize people and like being like flaws and all. Who are you as a person?
Yeah.
And you can't tell chemistry off of
Exactly, because then
swiping.
Text, yeah.
you're gonna read someone's bio and then their favorite artist is Taylor Swift. My favorite artist Kanye West, and then now we must. Now imagine that. What if that is my favorite person of all time? They just love Taylor Swift and I
Yeah.
love Kanye. And when it comes to concerts, we can't go to concerts together. But outside of that,
You can still have a good
every
relationship.
other aspect of who we are as people
Oh, I'm
is
hearing
perfect.
you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, it's
So be
amazing.
careful what you write in your bios.
I just
Yeah.
I just write 6'2". That's all. I write 6'4". Yeah.
The worst part is it's enough to get.
This is what's like, oh, that is correct.
What's your whole personality?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've had one of my longest, most beautiful, fulfilling relationships from a guy I met on Tinder.
And
His
what?
bio said 6'2".
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a girl
Yeah, 'cause it's
wants,
just-
what a girl needs. That's all. That's
I
all it
love
is.
that.
Yeah.
Did you find how was your experience on?
He was 5'11" in real life, but they still fell in love.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Height is not everything. There are
So
other
already
things.
starting off with lies.
I can explain. He's looking at you.
Why'd you do
that? We're already here. Let's just have the date. Please. I can explain.
So I suppose everything can or cannot work. It's just your experience of it in a lot of ways.
Oh wow!
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
amazing. You said one of your most fulfilling relations.
Yeah, it was a wonderful. He was a beautiful
Wow.
human being. He was a wonderful
Mm.
person.
Mhm.
And towards the end, there were just some things that didn't fit. But there's never going to be beef between us. I'm never going to ever speak
Mm.
poorly of him. And I hope him of me the same because it was lovely.
Amen.
It was really lovely.
That's
Okay.
great. So you guys friends with your exes?
Yeah.
No.
Some of them. Well, yeah. But
No.
not close enough where I'm seeing them all the time. It's just like
Be
I just
cool.
don't like bad blood.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So it's that thing of like, if you're in a room or whatever. Also, it's just that thing of like, all the people that I've ever been with,
Yeah.
I like them because they're ambitious people, right?
Mm.
Like they do dope things.
Mm.
So I know I'm gonna see them at the top, and I want like when they see me, it's that energy of like, nah, let's hire him or like let's pick him for that
Yeah.
thing because. As much as our relationship didn't necessarily work, he's
Yeah.
good at what he does. And like to not have that cloud their judgment. I just like I think that type
That's
of foresight with
beautiful, yeah.
everything because I'm like that as well. Where even to this day, when I see a job that's perfect, they're like, we're looking for people that do this. I can just send it to them because I know that's what you do.
Mm.
Like it doesn't have to always be ugly. Yeah, but that's
Aw,
yeah.
that's so real. It doesn't
That
have
is
to always
real.
be ugly.
Mm.
And when it is ugly, just
Make it uglier,
don't talk to them ever again.
guys. It's time for Put Me On.
Man.
Okay, let's do it.
Can we do Put Me On?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. transition.
You put me on, bro.
Put me on, sis. Put me on. Put me on. Put me on.
Actually, don't date. Can I give you advice that's unsolicited? Use your 20s to build your
I
life.
hear that. You know, I've never been in a relationship.
Yeah,
and I just feel like,
For real?
for real. And I feel like, yeah.
I just got into my first one, like ever, and I'm terrified.
This is what I love to.
It's terrifying.
You did 3 months talking.
We did the 3 months.
They did.
I understand their cycle.
Yeah.
I can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
They understand my cycle. They can handle it. And now it's been smooth sailing. It's been a year. Yeah. So in Gen Z timing, that's like what? That's like 6 years.
Bro.
Mm.
Oh. Whoa.
Cool. Okay, so back to the Put Me On. So for today's Put Me On, Zama's also going to be giving us some.
I'm so
insight.
excited
Would you
for
like
your
to-
perspective,
No,
your interests,
I'm a new
whatever it is.
start, you know? I
Oh,
love
yeah,
this.
should
Yeah,
we
yeah,
start?
yeah.
Should we start? Do you want to start?
Yeah, I don't mind starting.
Okay, go.
Okay, so for my Put Me On this week, it's actually a YouTuber. I think she also does TikTok. But she's pretty much like talks about South African fashion. She does video essays, and like they're hella interesting. Because at first, the reason why I found her was from this recent video of hers, which was titled "When the Apartheid Government Made a Man." So the apartheid government got commissioned to make a comic book about a superhero, about a black South African superhero. And it was like trying to pretty much influence black people into not, I guess, rising above the establishment by all the narratives were follow the rules, be better, as a black person, just the laws are good for you or whatever. But we all know what the laws back in apartheid was. So I find that very interesting. I'm a comic book freak, like love comics. So to just see the worlds mix was crazy. Her name is Kensani Mutlatloli. Mutlatloli, ne? I had to practice the surname at home. But yeah, she's really dope. She's really
I love
dope.
that.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I hope you guys check out her stuff because she has a lot of dope stuff about like fashion, how the politics of Black Panther, costume design. It's just crazy. It's
I saw
amazing.
that one. I thought it was very, very interesting because she talks about different cultures instead of one culture, right? So like it's been stolen from the Swazi culture, or there's a Sotho culture, or there's something from North African culture that's all been put together to make this Wakanda thing. It's just very, very interesting. Nice Put Me On, brother.
Thank you.
Okay, so my Put Me On is more like a life Put Me On for moms. So I saw this TikTok of this mom, and she was a corporate lady. She worked in corporate. Her husband worked in corporate, but she felt like she was missing too much of her kid's life. So she wasn't able to go to the ballet recitals or the sports day and this and that and the other thing. And she felt like, she really wants to heal herself because her parents weren't able to do that for her by being able to do that for her kids. And it's been raining a lot in Johannesburg where we shoot this podcast. And she says she got up the other day and it was raining and they went looking around for the kids' umbrellas and all the umbrellas were broken and no one's told her that the umbrellas were broken. So she's like, okay, fine. I'll just take my big umbrella and I'll kappa you to your class and kappa you to your class. When she gets to the parking lot, she finds that kids are getting out. Not only do they have their own umbrellas, but their backpacks have umbrellas.
No, what?
So they
That's
have their own like
cool.
raincoat on their backpack. Her kids' books are getting wet. They're getting wet. And she just says the frustration of then you go to a sports thing and their mother's there with cooler boxes and scuffed teens for halftime with the oranges cut up. And she just felt like, no, it's too much. It's too much. Rather let me go to work. This is a lot. And to be that mom who's always there everywhere, signing, being, baking, it's too much. And she was just venting about it.
Man.
And I just want to say to anybody who feels like that about being a mom, relax.
Yeah.
If your kids are fed, they're going to school, they have extramural activities, you are doing great as a mom. We're not all the PTA mom. It's okay. Get them to school on time. It's okay. That's it. Maybe put in a little bit of like an organizational system for yourself. Like, Monday, these are the things you need. Tuesday, these, so that you save some time.
Give them grace.
Sure.
Breathe. Give yourself grace.
That's so reassuring.
It's okay. You don't have to be like that. And the more you compare yourself to the other moms, the worse you're going to feel about yourself. So
True.
it's okay.
Okay.
That's
No?
so beautiful.
I like that.
Yeah.
Man, I think earlier in the episode I was talking about like how I feel like habits are, well, your life is like the sum of your little habits and stuff. And last week I just finished Atomic Habits, the book, and I honestly think we should all read it. You know, I think first and foremost, it's not a difficult read. Like sometimes when you read like a self-help book, you feel like they use jargon and all the rest. That feels like, oh, where do I even begin? But like, I feel like it's a nice way of like taking stock of your own life and like actually assessing your life. And it's like a practical way of like saying, this is who I want to be. This is what I want for myself and all the rest. And it just, I don't know, for me, it was so transformative. And I really think you should if you haven't read it, you know, and if you're trying to figure out how to change your habits, because it's such a difficult thing. Like you've been doing this for all your life. You know, it's the small things that you don't even realize that you do, or the way that you respond to things, or, you know, just how you even wake up in the morning. Like, I don't understand people who say that I'm not a morning person. I'm like, you're an adult. You know, you just got to get up, you know, but I get it. Maybe we're not all up, but it's like, if you just... My bad. I'm so sorry. I just have to...
I mean, I do get up, but I'm grumpy for at least half an hour.
But
yes, you're right.
It's like learning how to shift that, because we become so used to believing that that's who we are and that's how we operate. But like, I just think if that's something you're trying to do or wanting to just like figure out how to change who you are or get closer to who it is you want to be, I always say we need to be honest about the gap between who we are and who we want to be. You know, like I feel like we're always writing the same goals, the same, because we're just like, but I think once we can start being more honest and real about it, we can just start taking the steps to getting there. And I just feel like, Atomic Habits, I loved it. Get into it. Like,
This is why I say you don't have to date in your 20s. The 20s are the building blocks for you. Read Atomic Habits. Read about personal finance. Learn that stuff. Do that stuff. Build you. Sure. And then you'll find Supermandla down the lanes at some point.
Please don't date a guy named Supermandla. I don't know why that name.
Spiwe and Supermandla are always my go-to names. I don't know what that's about.
Them watching this right now.
Maybe.
What's wrong with that?
Everybody catching a stray.
I think we could chat for hours and hours, hey?
Definitely.
You've been such an interesting, real, wonderful person to... You felt like you could be one of our siblings.
Feel that.
Yeah.
I feel
this
that.
conversation felt like that. Okay, so put us on. Your podcast is called... How often do you release?
Man, What in the 20's is the name of the podcast. Every week, Sundays, you know, you can just a nice Sunday reset.
Amen.
Get into it. But yeah. Praise God. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
But yeah, What in the 20's, you can find me there. And then on social, zay.mkhize. Yeah, zay.mkhize.
That's fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
We never give out our social medias.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe this is your time.
No.
You don't want to?
No, let's do it. My name is Khabani Muloy, and on all my social medias, it's Khabani_TV.
Why do we feel weird doing that? It's so strange. My name is Babi Muloy, and everywhere on social media, you can find me at Babi Muloy.
I don't know. For me, it's like, please like me.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Choose me.
That's what it
I'm so pretty. I'm so pretty.
I need this.
Exactly. It's been a brother and a sister podcast. Zama Mkhize, you are so wonderful.
Oh, man.
Thank you for coming to visit us.
Guys, thanks for having me. Gosh, I'm so
thank you.
geeked. Okay.
Me too. Awesome. We out.
That's
Bye.
it.